Joining me today for a chat is independent artist Jason Webb. Jay is from Cambridgeshire in the UK and for the last few years has been juggling a young family, working commitments with his musical career. Jay is a singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist and producer, with him creating his music at home in his own hand-built studio. Jay has released songs mainly digitally through the standard platforms, but has also embraced physical media such as cassettes, CDs and vinyls, and recently embraced recording and demoing in a more analog fashion. Welcome to the podcast, Jay.
Thank you. I think career's a bit generous.
So you're on here to sell yourself, so don't downplay.
Oh, yeah, I'm a famous artist, mate.
Don't downplay what you're doing. So I guess I wanted to start our chat today by talking about music and your early life with music. So as a nice icebreaker, when did you first discover music?
My first awakening with music was with the Verve's The Drugs Don't Work. Driving back from somewhere with my dad. It's so early, I can't even remember where we were driving back from, but mum and dad were still together, so it must have been pretty early. And I just remember driving down the road, sat in the front seat, and I was like, started to pay attention to what was being said in the song. And then I asked him, and I was like, what's it about? And he explained the story to me. And that's like the first moment I realized that songs have stories behind them, and they're not just music and pretty words and stuff to listen to. So yeah, that was the moment I probably started paying attention to music. I can remember it vividly.
How old do you think you were roughly then?
Must have been about 6 to 8.
That's quite an early awakening. I was talking with my previous guest, Paul, a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying that I liked music as a kid. And I distinctly remember, so it had been round about 1995, falling in love with Someday I'll Be Saturday Night by Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
And then went through the stage where my favourite songs were like Blue Dabble Dee Dabble Die, The Flintstones. I liked Seal's Batman song because it was connected with Batman. But it took me to get to like early teenage years, and it was American Idiot for me, which came out, and it was a song that I was like, shit, they're like slamming the US president. Are we allowed to do this in music? Yeah. And then from there, that was like a nice little thread where I can then go see, well, especially punk music and what was sort of involved in there.
Yeah. Now, my first like really in-depth dive into music would have been Eminem when the Modern Warfare 2 trailer came out in 2009, and it was Till I Collapse, Eminem and Nate Dogg. And I just really enjoyed the song, and I just got really heavily into Eminem after that. And that was when I properly started like going out and buying albums and learning lyrics and rapping along to it. Started writing my own stuff and that.
So early favourite artists. So we spoke about like Richard Ashcroft, The Verve, Eminem. Anybody else that made an impact on you in your early formative years?
Yeah, so my first collection of music was just getting my first iPod and just ripping my dad's computer, which was folky stuff, a lot of The Verve, God, Wham, stuff like that. So yeah, I had a very mixed catalogue from the start, listening-wise.
I think we've all done that, where we've gone back and we've looked at like our parents' musical tastes, and my dad's taste, and my dad will not be listening to the podcast because he can't work like a phone, he can't work his Alexa, but his tastes are pretty awful, other than like in Bon Jovi and Springsteen. So they're the only two musical influences that I will take away from my dad.
I'm going to burn this onto a CD and deliver it to your dad. So.
Please do. When did you discover you could sing?
I mean, I didn't really. People have told me I can sing. Still don't think I can sing that well now. I know I can hold a note, but I don't consider myself. I hate editing my own voice. Yeah, I've always been singing. My sister was is a really good singer. So we've always been singing to Now 23 and Mika and stuff. So I've just always enjoyed singing. It wasn't not so much even now about whether I can or can't sing. It's just about wanting to do it.
It makes sense. I remember you sending me a video and you said like, oh, this is one of my first songs. And I was just thinking I'd met you a couple of weeks or so. And I thought, all right, we'd been going to the local park with our kids. And I was like, oh, he's a funny guy. It's going to be like me singing because I enjoy singing in the shower. And then I was like, Jay could sing. So I think you should not knock your singing voice. And obviously I've been to like open mic sessions with you, and you always get a really good reception from people as well. What age were you when you picked a guitar up?
Ooh, well, I first picked a guitar up. I was still in primary school. My old man booked me in for guitar lessons with the head teacher. There's a big ring of us doing guitar lessons. I remember that. I don't remember anything I learned, apart from maybe the E minor chord. And then when I turned 16, I started getting into the mod scene and scooters and scooter rallies and stuff. Got myself a Vespa. And then as I started listening to more like The Who and Northern Soul and the Kinks and stuff, I started wanting to learn them songs. So I dusted off my old guitar and got the guitar god himself, Marty Schwartz, up on YouTube and learnt That's Entertainment by The Jam was the first song I learnt when I was 16, self-taught. And then, it's just continued from there.
Can you remember a point when you decided you wanted to write your own music?
It wasn't long after that, to be fair. The first song I wrote was Flashy Cup. The first guitar song I wrote was Flashy Cup. That was after a scooter rally. It's the same chords as That's Entertainment. Well, nearly. There's a couple extra, but it's just so after that, one of the things you learn is like the 4 chords that plays you pretty much every pop song in the world. So
I think we've all seen the YouTube video where guys like doing a talent show, and they basically take everything from My Heart Will Go On to Journey's Don't Stop Believing to the song from Shrek that you can see it's those 4 chords. So
I just took them 4 and put some lyrics to it. Just a song about this silly little plastic cup with a flashy LED in the bottom. Because there's a story behind it.
But that's what I find. Every sort of good song does have a story behind it. So when did you decide to take things more seriously? So you've recorded or written a couple of songs. When was the first time that you decided that you were actually going to record that song?
I've always been I remember in high school, I don't know what the software was, but we had that software that had like the MIDI drums and like you could make multi-track digital recordings. I can't remember what the software was or anything remotely now, but I always loved that idea, but I was never able to find anything. I've never researched it much, obviously, because if I'd done any research, I would have found out about interfaces and how easy it is to record at home. But I recorded a couple songs over lockdown. That's when I really started getting serious about songwriting. Just on my phone, sent it to you and a few people. And then one of my friends said, "Oh, well, my girlfriend records at home." And I was like, "Oh, how do you do that?" And they was like, "Oh, you just get audio interface and then you can get it to your computer and you just get a cheap software." And that's very quickly spiraled into where I am now.
I think that's the thing there, that when you look over the last sort of 10, 15 years for independent artists, life has changed, that you don't need to be going into a recording studio anymore. Like, you're not recording on sort of a boombox and then
I am now.
or Springsteen style, where you're having to buy machines and then you're recording it, and then with the intention of taking it in the studio. People are creating entire albums from their back garden. And I think lockdown was quite a pivotal moment for a lot of people. We all got this free time, and it's like, what do you do with it? Because after you've binged everything on Netflix and we can't go out, like, you start turning towards sort of like your passions.
It was definitely the springboard for my music. It was, since you came along. I was actually, because I started with guitar, I basically stuck with the open cowboy chords and that. Pretty much all the way up until lockdown. And then lockdown, I was like, right, I'm going to sit down and actually get better at this and learn like bar chords and learn where the notes are on the fretboard and different chord voicings and whatnot. And then, with that, I decided to get into electric guitar. I mean, I've had this Strat thing, which you can't see, audience. Jamie will probably edit this out. But I've had that since I was 16. And then I got my first electric guitar I bought for myself during lockdown. And then, I got an amp. cheap off Marketplace and wrote my first electric guitar tune, which was since you came along.
What other instruments can you play?
Bass, very basically bass. I've got a mandolin, but I just kind of play notes on it. I know a few chords. Ukulele again, I know a few chords. I just use it as textures and whatnot. I've learned very basic drum rhythms for when I had electric drum kit, for MIDI drums. I know chords on a keyboard. I can just about play with two hands. Violin I learned when I was a kid, but not very good at that now. Again, I just piece it in digitally. But yeah, I think that's probably about it. I think guitar's definitely my main instrument and the vocal cords.
What's been the hardest part of being an independent artist in this day and age? We've spoke about the positives, that you can do so much digitally, you can do so much from home. What do you think the downsides are compared to being in the 80s, the 90s?
Lack of support probably, but I mean, I guess anyone would have that back in the 80s or 90s if you can get the connections to get into the studio or whatever. I think I would still go to a studio and that if I could afford to. I think now labels want you to build up pretty much your entire self to like 100 million followers, and you've already basically done it yourself before labels step in and go, yeah, well, we want that artist. Like, I don't think anyone's even on the map until they put themselves on the map, and then they've basically proven they can do it themselves anyway. So the label just don't want to do any work anymore, I think, would be the main difference now.
I think I definitely agree. And talking with Paul last time, and this is why with my podcast, I like to get some level of synergy between my guests. So we've spoke about different aspects of Springsteen. We've talked about sort of like lost masterpieces in my eyes. And with Paul, we had a really in-depth conversation about what it was like working in sort of the 80s and the 90s in like the rock industry. And now it's really nice to get you talking about doing it in the 2020s. Because it doesn't feel like there's people out there discovering artists anymore. No. You don't hear those stories where I will just do the Springsteen thing of John Landau going out to a college gig and seeing what he saw as the future of rock and roll. And then pushing this guy who had been signed, but pushing him in different directions. And we're all aware of so many famous stories where like famous artists are discovered. Whereas now it seems to be like somebody picks up somebody on YouTube or TikTok, and then, like you say, they've built their following up, and then a studio will come in, and then a label will come in rather, and just run with it. So it is quite sad because, again, my feelings on the record industry, and I haven't sort of hidden this, is that it's not personal anymore. There's no characters. There's no we're losing the humanity side of things. And it is quite sad in my eyes. And one thing that I was going to talk about was you'd mentioned about collecting CDs and bits and pieces, that I find it really sad. Me and Jay have both got kids that, like, one of our kids is the same age, that my daughter's never going to walk into sort of our town and being able to pick up a single. And that was such an important part of my childhood, was get my pocket money, going into a shop and discovering music. Yeah. Whereas now everything's at her fingertips and she can ask to listen to any song whenever she wants. Yeah. And I do find that's kind of sad. And she's got so many more opportunities now, but I do find that kind of thing, and it dwells on my mind, like some of the magic in music has gone. Yeah. Do you feel like the magic in music isn't there as much as when you were a kid? Yeah,
definitely. I think definitely streaming, it's just too convenient to kill, and it is choking the music industry because, I mean, I don't get enough streams to be paid any notable income anyway, but they do hilariously underpay artists. All of them, really. I mean, there's some are better than others, but all the major ones, you have to get like $3,000 a month. You have to get like 100,000 listeners or something in a month. I don't know the exact figures anymore, but I used to get very in depth of it. I don't even bother looking now. But yeah, physical media and the romance behind it, and going out and the experience of it all. It's all gone now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I'm a little bit older than Jay, but I used to like going into record shops and choosing albums because of the front covers, because they were painted, they were artwork. And now everything is done 9 times out of 10 by AI.
Yeah.
And it is just, okay, I want to do this, chuck it into AI, and it brings out a crystal clear image. And it's right, that's my cover done. There's no sort of sitting there with an artist talking about what you want, trying different things. And then we've all heard stories again where artists have gone away and actually been told a brief and they've wanted particular colors and they can't actually use those colors. So people have had to go and think outside the box. But now with sort of like AI and your digital side of things, you're never going to get that kind of humanity going into the artwork again. Yeah. And I just find it really, really sad.
That's another thing as well. All the stuff that comes with physical media, you got the information booklets and, you know, like you sit there listening to the song while reading through the booklet and going, and it's like, oh, this song was written about such and such. And you get some story behind it and whatever. There's none of that. Obviously, you just click on a link now and there it is. And then you get distracted by Facebook and you don't listen to the song anyway.
100%. And this is the thing where my wife laughed at me that I liked the physical act when like we got together of listening to music. And I got together with my wife. She found it quite funny that I like to go and get an album and physically get the album out, put it on my record player, and it was something like on a Sunday morning that I would do. I don't want to listen to music. And it wasn't, well, why are you going and doing that when you can just tell our Alexa to play it? And I'm like, well, I want to see the front cover. I want to look at the liner notes.
Yeah.
And still now, like this year, I spent like best part of 400 quid on Springsteen vinyls. Like we got the tracks to the lost albums, and I loved that you've got this package that you can open up. You've got a hardback book in there all about the history of these albums. And then you've got all these individually packaged albums and you pick one out, choose it. And I like to read the lyrics as well. Springsteen, as everybody knows, likes a mumble in a song as well. So sometimes you need the lyrics to read along with them as well. And it is kind of sad that that's gone there. One thing that when I started this podcast, I wanted to shine a light on independent artists. And I found that the whole marketplace with like the algorithm of when I was doing weekly, this is my favorite song that an independent artist has put out there. My entire like timeline was flooded with independent artists.
It's because there's a million people out there paying £100 a day for ads.
Exactly. And it's overwhelming. And the marketplace for someone to be discovered is so difficult. And I know with yourself there, and this is skipping ahead a little bit, like you'll submit songs to like BBC New Sounds and things like that. Yeah. But you've got so many people that are doing that now that it makes such a crowded marketplace, which must be so frustrating because how do you stand out in that crowd?
100,000 songs a day are uploaded to Spotify.
That's crazy numbers.
Yeah, 100,000. Yeah. So, yeah, money is obviously the first thing that's going to make you stand out because you can pay for the ads, you can pay for the reach, you can pay for like PR or whatever, studio time, mixing and mastering. So I think money is definitely the easiest way to stand out. That's why I think you see a lot of like speech mark nepotism in the music industry because a lot of the people coming up have got simply down to funds to pay for adverts and like even like paying to perform or paying to open for someone and stuff like this to, you know, get yourself out there, which is just, it feels like a ladder that's pretty impossible to get on now.
In this day and age, what does success look like to you?
I'm not too bothered about the success of my music, honestly. I'm just quite happy with my life where it is. So maybe I don't have the drive, but you get in what you get out, really. And I don't seem to be putting too much in at the minute. As you know, I've done a song every week last year. Is this being released this year?
Yeah, this is coming out. You are just about my final release of 2025. Okay. So, yeah.
So I've done a song every week for 2024. I wrote, recorded, and released a song every week. And that was a pretty decent way of gaining traction because obviously you just got bombarding people with content. Like, it's going to reach further. And a couple of songs got like a few thousand streams, and it feels good. But I don't really think that's something I'm going to be chasing. So maybe the worst person to ask, but I would love to be played on the radio at the minute. That's the next target for me, is get on the radio. I've done a gig this year. I want to get on the radio next year. So at the minute, that's my success bar, is just get on the radio.
How do you deal with setbacks? And what would you consider a setback to yourself being?
I cry in the corner and rock myself to sleep. No, I'm joking. Setbacks. Facing setbacks all the time creatively. Like, again, I'm not putting any pressure on myself now, but before, especially when I was doing the song a week, if I couldn't come up with something, it would really mess with my head. Try not to swear.
Feel free to swear.
Really,
this is an adult podcast.
Creatively is probably the biggest setback, and as well for me, like trying to learn to like produce and mix and master, and that by myself, because I can't afford a mixing engineer and a mastering engineer. The biggest setback's obviously not being able to come up with anything. And if I can't come up with anything, I just come up with stuff. I just force myself to come up with stuff. And most of it's garbage, and most of it I just write it, maybe record a demo of it, and then just forget about it and it's gone. And then I just keep doing that until something good comes. So I feel like with like speech marks, writer's block and that, the worst thing you can do is just like let it get in your head that you've got writer's block and you can't write anything. Yep. And you just got to force yourself to keep writing. It's like, I can't remember, I've heard this before somewhere, but it's like dirty water coming out of a pipe, and you just got the clean water coming and it's flushing. So you get a load of dirty water, and then you get a little bit of clean water and a bit more dirty water and clean water. And it's like you got to keep the flow going to get the good stuff. Because if you just stop, then you just stop it. You're just losing it all.
Totally get that. And I think this is why when you look at, in quotation marks, like successful artists, and when you look at big albums, you find that artists have wrote 40 or 50 songs to get 10 or 11 that they see that is worthy.
They say, again, I can't remember what the figures are. It's something I've heard from some expert on YouTube or something, but you want to write like over double what you need. I think it's maybe 3 times what you need. Like if you're going to release a single, you need to write 3 songs and then choose the best one. And if you're going to do an EP, you need to do 16 songs and choose the best 4 or 5 or whatever. And if you're going to do an album and you want 13 songs, you need to write 30 odd songs, and then you can choose the cherry pick the best ones, kind of thing. I don't agree with it myself, because I like to release everything, but
no, it makes sense. So what does your music say about you?
Depends on the song you listen to.
I suppose I'll help you out there. Like, do you prefer to write autobiographical, or do you prefer to write about characters?
I definitely prefer to write autobiographical, but I'm trying not to write autobiographical, because I feel like everything I write is just, it's a very, very specific to me and probably not relatable to anyone else. Especially last year, because that's kind of the pattern I sunk into with releasing so much and writing so much, is that it was easy to just write about some memory from when I was 16, and it's very specific to me. I tried to write it vaguely enough that it could be relatable to other people, but most of the time I feel like it's just for me. So I'm trying now to be more loose.
I get what you mean. Like, you wrote a really nice song called Small Victories, which is about one of your children.
Yeah.
And I do encourage everybody to go away and listen to this. And I will get Jay to plug some of his songs shortly, which I really emotionally connected with. And you do see those little milestones. But I do think you put enough of yourself and your personality in there because you want to show you off as a person and artist. It makes it more authentic. But there was enough in that song there to actually make me sit there and a little bit choked up, because it takes me back to how I feel. And I think that's a sign of a good song, that yes, it's come from you, but you've made somebody else feel and be transported back to a certain point in their life.
Yeah, I'm proud of that one, because I think that was the first one that I was like, yes, that's I'm writing about. Well, I was writing about Theo at the time, my youngest child, because I was watching him like try and stand up the sofa to figure out standing up, and I was sat there with the guitar and started figuring this song out. But that was the first one that I was like consciously in my head, like, right, just don't focus on like, oh well, you stood up the sofa in your blue onesie and being really specific. I was just like, you stood up the sofa yesterday. That's applicable to everyone. Everyone's kid stands up using the sofa at some point, right? And every kid, God, what are the other lines? It's first steps and first smile and that, isn't it, in that song. So it's all broader. It was like, yeah.
But there was enough there that was a moment in time for you that you captured.
Yeah.
But then it was able to put me in back in my shoes of when my kid was doing that for the first time.
Yeah,
I know.
Sorry, that was the only song this year I feel like actually met, because that was my goal for this year, is to be less personal and be more broad and relatable. And I feel like that's the only one really that I feel I actually met that.
This is probably going to be a difficult question for you.
They all are.
What is the genesis of a song for you? What is that light bulb moment? Can it be anything?
Yes, it's all different things. God, yeah, like sometimes you just get a title and then you write it down. I write in my notebook or my thing, a pad, the notes on my phone. But then you go, oh, it's a brilliant idea. It'd be a great song title. And then obviously nothing ever comes of that, really, for me. Some people might do, but for me, I look back at it later, I'm like, oh, that's crap. Usually it will be just sitting down with the guitar. It'd have to be, and I have to be in the mood. I have to be in this place I can write the song and the whole song, because I have to write the whole song in one, or it just doesn't come about, and it's very hard to get that coming, get back in their headspace. I think John Lennon said this about, if you start writing a song, finish the song, because you're never going to be in the same headspace again. So next time you go to listen to it, you'll be in a different headspace. So yeah, the start of it for me is, it's always like a conscious effort to sit and, I mean, small victories. I wasn't sat there with the guitar to write, but when I saw Theo standing up the sofa and I was sat there with the guitar, I had the idea with the guitar, sat down. I think it was, the second verse, you stood up the sofa yesterday. Won't be long until your first steps of distant memory, and that was just springboarded from there. That was
so. We'll take small victories. You've written it. How do you develop that into a song? What is your production process? How do you experiment? Can you talk me through? You brought that song into your studio. Where do we go from there?
That would have been early this year, so I would have just been doing it digitally. I would tend to write it all out, like I say, get it written, and then record just with my phone camera or my thing on my phone. I've got this little dictaphone thing I use. I think I've got the entire song on that dictaphone. I think I was using that, and I was just try and record the song just acoustically in like the kitchen or something, get it all down, come out to the studio whenever I next come out here, and just lay down an acoustic track. Maybe if I'm going to have drums, I'll just put some MIDI drums in so I've got something to play against, because drums like set the energy for the song.
Yeah.
So if I'm like, I want this to be like a rocky song, I'll put some drums down first and that will inspire the rest of it. But yeah, I just normally lay down how it is when I wrote it. So just vocals and acoustic, and then build it out, maybe rearrange some stuff. And then, just go over it again and record it all properly.
I think now will probably be a good opportunity to play you that song. What we'll do, we'll play you Small Victories.
Can I have a beer, please?
1, 2, 3, 4. You open your eyes for the first time today. It seems like such a simple thing to me. The first of many first things that you'll do. Little steps on the path to becoming you. watching you achieve all your small victories.
Well, that was Small Victories by Jason Webb, who is joining me today.
Bonjour.
How does it feel to release a song into the wild? And I've just said that as Jay has taken a sip of beer, so we'll just give him 2 seconds.
Oh, how does it feel to release a song? Daunting, because then you've got to promote the song if you want anyone to listen to the song. It's a relief because you spend so long working on the song, and you get kind of sick of hearing the song. But then you got to the point where you release it, and you're sick of hearing the song, and you kind of don't want to think about the song anymore. But now you've got to promote the song, so now you've got to pretend to be interested in the song more than you are to try and convince other people to listen to the song. You've got to try and, because it's all TikTok and Reels and stuff now, you've got to try and come up with some stupid, funny videos and stuff to try and promote the song. So yeah, it's a bit daunting because I know I've got to think about what I'm going to do to put myself out there a bit. But yeah, it is relieving because then you don't have to worry about it anymore. I mean, I'm mixing a song, I'm listening to it in the van, I'm listening to it in the car, I'm listening to it on headphones, I'm listening to it on cassette, I'm listening to it like in here on the speakers. It's just it is a bit of a drag. So it is a relief to get it out.
No, makes sense to me. Can we talk about another specific song?
Yep.
I asked Jay earlier today to come back to me with what he thinks is the song that best shows off him as an artist. And it's a song called Devil's Debate, which we're going to play for you again now. So this is Devil's Debate.
Chair up to the table, tuck into your empty plate, tie your steed up in the stable, we'll unpack your heavy case. I could offer you your dreams come true, but you might not like the price you'll pay. And I can make it happen for you if you'll just sign away your fate. Am I the devil or an angel? That's always been up for debate. 'Cause I can grant you all your wishes, but you might not like the going rate. By the wicked record label, who controls the songs you play, or the dealer at the table, the one who's fixing all the games. By the twisted politician, the one who's lying to your face. I'm just granting your desires, so I'll ask you this again. Am I the devil or an angel? but you might not like the going rate. Am I the devil or an angel? That's always been up for debate. 'Cause I can grant you all your wishes, but you might not like the going rate. Am I the devil or an angel? That's always been up for debate. 'Cause I could grant you all your wishes, but I'll need your soul for the trade.
So that was Devil's Debate. What does Devil's Debate tell us about Jason Webb, the artist?
I think it's a lot of my influences in it. We both love a Bond theme.
Yep.
And I love a slow, moody song. I love, I love, honestly, I could sit and listen to music score, like movie scores.
I get that.
I love I used to love, I don't really sit and listen to movie scores anymore, but I do love a movie score. So yeah, just like this slow, moody, slightly orchestral. Yeah, I think it shows a lot of like what I enjoy listening to.
Yep.
Probably the most out of my songs would be because I tend to like write a lot of like acoustic folky songs, but I'm not that much of a fan of acoustic folk. So yeah, I think it's definitely the one that like shows my interests the most out of the songs I've done, and I wrote it in like an hour.
I think that plays into what you sort of said, where you're taking on board what John Lennon said, and you've run through that entire song. Did you always envision it when you wrote it as a slow, moody, Bondian type song?
I think that one stayed the same the whole way through. I actually done it as a YouTube video. There's a YouTube video out there of me writing the first verse and the chorus. I think it's one of the first ones I did because I just said, right, I'm going to see how much of a song I can write in an hour, and then wrote that. And I've just loved the song, and it's my most streamed song. It's not my most popular song, as counterintuitive as that sounds, but everyone tells me they love Pablo Escobar. Like anyone who says anything about my song says Pablo Escobar's their favorite.
Definitely.
Yeah. But I'd say that song probably is the least relatable to me as an artist, because that's just like, it's like an Arctic Monkeys song, isn't it?
It's fun.
Yeah.
I think this is the thing that I would encourage you to go away and look at the songs that Jay has written, because there are some deeply autobiographical songs. There's songs on there that I picked my phone up and sort of said, right, just checking in, making sure that you're all right and that you're not heading towards a bridge. There's songs there that I do feel like you almost lift sort of like the lid on who you are as a person. There's songs that are relatable about your family. How far is too far when you're writing about your life?
Less far than I've gone, probably.
Yeah.
I think somewhere mid through last year, like I say, I was writing whatever I could write about, because in the end I was giving myself 1 day to write the song, 1 day to mix the song, 1 day to get it finished. 1 day to record the song, 1 day to mix the song, and it had to be released by Wednesday night to be out Friday. So I was writing a song basically in 1 day. So I was just writing whatever the hell came to my head. And there are songs online now that are very, very personal. There's songs like just about like depression and stuff, which I don't talk about with anyone. But I'd say if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have anything out like that now.
Do you feel music is a good outlet for emotions, for mental health?
Definitely,
Do you find that it is? A lot of people talk about music as therapy.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the reasons that in my life I wanted to do this podcast, because I felt like I work, I look after my wife, my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt there was a point there that I was giving an awful lot, and I wanted something where there was something unique to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it quite therapeutic to have time in my wife is so supportive with whatever I want to do. So I could say that I want to write a book, and she would say, yeah, I'll give you time to do that. But for me, I do find it gives me a little bit more purpose in my life, that I'm not just a husband, a dad going to work. So how do you feel about music? Is it a therapy for you?
Yeah, definitely. That's why I got so much into Eminem when I was younger. Like being an angsty teen. My mum had just got with my stepdad, and I was like, I didn't like him when I was a kid because he wasn't my dad. And I didn't like my dad because I didn't like to go around his house because it was boring. So yeah, I very much, that was my outlet when I was a teen, was Eminem, and like helped me release an emotion
Yeah.
that I didn't really show otherwise. Not saying it was valid emotion, but there you go. And definitely now, like if I'm feeling sad, you got sit and listen to music. Like when I'm driving, if I was sat driving the hours I do without music, like with just my thoughts, like you don't want to do that. So it's definitely good, because you still feel the emotions, like missing family or whatnot, or loneliness while driving down like 3 hours or whatever. But then
I suppose just to give people context, so Jay works away a lot. So Sunday afternoon, you disappear off, and then he's not back until sort of Thursday late evening, and he's got 3 kids, a wife. I moan at him because I miss him, because when he works nights, I have nobody to like say like Bruce has put a new song out, or like talk about sort of some of our interests and that. So
yeah, I'm basically off grid when I'm working nights because I'm just on a different schedule to everyone else.
And that must also give you time to write, but also turn thoughts to more of a darker.
Yeah, it's a lot of time in your own head. Sat in
Yeah.
a hotel room mostly by yourself, or driving by yourself. Not really seeing much of the world at night. Yeah, definitely very inversive thoughts.
I think that has shown that you've been really creative with some of those things. So I'll wake up and I'll have a couple of demos that Jay sent to me, and he was just working in Bradford not so long ago. And you wrote a song about sort of the sights and sounds that you saw there. And for me, I went to Cambridge with sort of where we live in the UK. Cambridge is one of my favourite cities, and I went back there after sort of lockdown, and all the independent record shops had shut down. The market, which used to have vinyls on there, was decimated. Even my favourite coffee shop that I used to be able to go to, and I sound really pretentious, I'd sit down
Sounding
and they would
proper
just
indie.
bring me out like a cappuccino and just drop it down on the table, and they knew my favourite pizza order. It was all gone.
Yeah.
And I found that sad, because Cambridge, if you go away and Google Cambridge, if you've never been to Cambridge, it looks so picturesque. It's got so much like culture there, and it just felt dead. And I felt, now correct me if I'm wrong, the song was called City of Culture.
Yeah, it was, Centre of Culture.
Centre of Culture.
Because Bradford was voted as the Centre of Culture 2025. So as I was walking through the town, there was this massive banner that said Centre of Culture 2025. And then that was in the middle of the shopping mall. And the second I walked out the shopping mall, the arcade or whatever, there was this bloke getting stuffed into a police van, and there was like 20 people around in a circle just filming it.
Yep.
But no one's like saying anything or doing anything to help anyone. They're just filming it for no reason. And then I was like, well, this is what the fuck has society come to? And yeah, I started writing a song about it. And yeah, it's all true. in that song. I mean, it's only out on social media. I've only done.
But I think that's another song there that you can put yourself into those shoes because, like for me, Cambridge was just not the place that I remembered. And I found that really sad. So moving on to, so we spoke a bit about your writing, your producing side of things, performing. So me and Jay have been to a few open mic sessions where you've been up there and performing. Yeah. How does it feel to perform a song compared to when you've written a song and you're singing it to yourself? Do you find that you live that song? Do you feel that you're going through the motions?
No, I definitely feel like I'm living the song, especially with I'm Trying. I don't know why that song particularly resonates with me still. But I just, when I'm performing, I spend a lot of time in my head worrying about A, getting it right, and B, what everyone else is thinking of the song. But there is no feeling like performing the song. Like I'm always absolutely bricking it before getting up there, and then as soon as I'm finished, I'm like, right, I want to go again. As you know, I'm bricking it to the point of like needing a piss every 2 seconds and getting a nervous tummy and that. Yeah, but there's no feeling like getting up, even at an open mic with like 30 people there. It's awesome just to get up and play to people and see how a song goes down. But yeah, I'm definitely in my head while I'm up there.
For yourself, what do you think's what would be a bigger buzz for yourself? Waking up and that you've got 30,000 streams on a song, or performing to 30 people and having 30 people being completely focused on your every word and giving you the biggest like reaction to each big moment in that particular song?
Yeah. I feel like the 30,000 streams would be a buzz the first time.
Yep.
But I feel like that would quickly, because nothing's ever good enough, is it? And then you'd be worrying about, oh, when am I going to get 100,000 streams? And on and on. I feel like, yeah, having 30 people in a room attentively listening to what you're saying is a lot more rewarding in the long run. I feel like, yeah, if I got 30,000 streams tomorrow, I'd probably be more buzzed off that than I would off this month's open mic. But yeah, I feel like that would quickly wear off and it would quickly just be the next milestone.
Do you find it hard in this day and age? And I find it hard where with my podcasts that we hit quite big because, again, I'll give you a little thank you, Steve Van Zandt, tweeting out. And
Steve Van Zandt, come on the show.
We got quite a nice buzz. Obviously, Disney got in touch with myself and I've been to a few different events. But when things start settling down, I've struggled with the fact of where do I take things now? And I can really emphasize with that you are chasing the numbers. And I do find, again, it's hard in this day and age that you're not waiting for a phone call from a record company to say your single has sold this amount. You can literally grab your phone now. And do you find it quite addictive when you were first putting songs out?
Yeah.
Like, are you checking? How often would you say you would check?
Oh, constantly. That's why I've spaced myself so much this year from it. Yeah. Because last year was just, because I was releasing constantly, I was checking constantly to see every metric. Like, you got the Meta Business app for Instagram and Facebook. You got TikTok Business, checking all the metrics on that. You got YouTube for creators. You got Spotify artists, Amazon artists, Apple artists, and checking all of them every day, at least once. That's why I've stepped back so much this year, because I just got pretty scared of how even though they weren't big numbers or anything, like how reliant I was on the numbers and how much that would affect me.
Yeah, 100%. There's been days there with my podcast that I've woken up and I've had 70 views and I'm like, wow, how's this happen? Last Sunday I had 0 and it put me in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And when I think about it, did I have any time to listen to an hour and 45-minute podcast on Sunday? No, because I was spending time with my family. No. And I do find we are sort of surrounded by technology. and there's pressure on there that I always have conversations with Jay about music being art. And I do feel that we're moving away from music being an art form to obviously being a business form. You've got the dangers of AI. There was a very interesting sort of conversation that me and Jay were having earlier. He's in the process of writing a song, which has come out very Bond-like.
Very.
A
bit too Bond-like.
So that one may be slightly edited by you by the time you guys get to hear it.
Yeah.
But you can put that sort of song into an AI app, give it basic instructions, and it goes away, it mixes, it masters, it brings a full orchestra in there. And it must be so hard that you've spent or can spend hours in a studio and you feel that within 2 minutes, or not even 2 minutes, within 20 seconds, this device has created, or this app has created something that could be played on the radio.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel as an artist? You are able to swear.
I dislike AI. No, I'm very against AI, but at varying levels, depends on its use. So, like, obviously, you've got like the top tier of my hate for AI, which is just you put a prompt to write a song about something, and then you take that and you put it in another AI and tell it to make a song out of that, and it makes a song out of that, and then you release it, and there's no humanity in it whatsoever. Yeah, I hate AI, but I hate AI on different levels. I hate it throughout, but I really hate, like, the top tier of hate would be when there's like no humanity gone into whatsoever. You haven't written the lyrics, you haven't done any of the music. There's no input from you whatsoever, and then you release that, and that like that pissed me off the most. And then like there's lower tiers. There's a fella on this Facebook group I'm on who he will write a song and then sing the song acoustically to camera, but then he'll follow it up with an AI version of the song. And that doesn't annoy me as much because it's there. He's written the song. It's his song. But also, I mean, AI at all levels at the end of the day is taking jobs out of the music industry and other industries. Like, even down to, like, I'd say the bottom tier of hate for me would be like AI mastering or something.
Yeah. Someone
who can't afford a mastering engineer, but they want to get their song listening ready.
Yeah.
That would probably, I mean, I still wouldn't do it myself, but that would be like the bottom tier for me. I've gone too much of a tangent to remember what I was saying.
Pull you back onto like probably your wavelength. For me, it's in the name.
Mm-hmm.
It's artificial.
Yeah.
And that's what kills music for me, is when music these days becomes too polished. Now, I'm going to plug my favourite song that was released over the last couple of weeks was Guns N' Roses' new song, Nothing. And in the epic guitar solo by Slash, he cocks up. And there's a nice little mistake in there where he's in the middle of his solo and he accidentally brushes one of the wrong strings. And they've kept it in there.
Yeah.
It's human.
Uh-huh.
Music, for me, is not designed to be perfect. Mm-hmm. And I've always said to Jay that a lot of the time I find that I prefer live music to studio albums.
Yeah, you love listening to live music.
Yeah, with me, like Springsteen, I will go, and 9 times out of 10, if somebody said to me, I want to get into Springsteen, I would give them a live album over a studio album, because I feel there's more life. Whereas even Bruce will talk about some of the studio sessions that he did. My second favorite Bruce album is Darkness on the Edge of Town, which the songs are forever in his set list and they are iconic songs. Mm-hmm. But the production is so dry, it sucked the life out of the songs. And even now, when, again, to plug Stevie is begged to remix the album. And the best version of that album is the 2009 live performance at the Paramount Theatre, because there's life in there. And I do find that's what people chase with AI, is the perfect sound. Yeah. And there's no experimenting in music. There's nothing there.
It doesn't deliver any...
There's no surprises.
There'll be no imperfections at all. Every vocal's perfectly on pitch, and there's no, like you say, missed notes or double taps on the hi-hat in the wrong part. I don't fucking know. But yeah, I'm the same. I'm very much, this year especially, been getting into creators and artists who are using cassettes and multi-track recorders, because you don't get retakes really. You can do a few, but the more you retake over the same track, the more gain, like noise, you're adding to the cassette. So there's pressure there to keep your imperfections in.
And I feel that, sorry to interrupt you,
it,
and we've spoken about this, that I feel the more you work on a song, the more you take away from the soul of that song. Yeah. And like you say, your philosophy is to write a song in one go. Mm-hmm. Yes, you might need to tweak a few words here and there, but I feel that when you've seen certain artists develop songs, they've taken a basic idea and then they've strayed too far, and it's become too like formulaic.
Yeah. I've said it before. I feel like every time you touch a song, you take a piece of its soul. But obviously there is a balance there where you need to get it produced, but you want to keep some of the soul as well, and that's a hard line to tread, because you start off with just, like in my case, a phone recording of me in the kitchen. It sounds awful. Every time you go through it again, like do another take recording, I think you take a bit of the soul away, and then a bit of the emotion, and then you get to the end when you're mixing it, and every time you listen to it again, I'll just compress it a bit more. I'll just take that out a bit with the EQ. That's just like chipping away at the soul a bit more. And then, I feel like if you go for that process for too long, you've just got this flat, soulless production, like you said about maybe the Springsteen album.
And I think that's the issue that I find, and like I say, just to talk about previous episode with Paul, that we were talking about analog and digital recording, and digital recording sounds different. Mm-hmm. And now this year, you've now taken a new approach and you're looking to step back into a more analog world. Yeah. Is that for musical purposes? Is it for that sort of that warmth, that high fidelity? Or
it's like, again, the soul, and like you can't help yourself from tinkering.
Yep.
Like you listen to it mixing it and you think, that needs more 2K taken out of it on the EQ, and like the options there, you're just going to do it, or you go, oh, that's slightly off pitch, I'll just retake that, and you punch in a vocal line or whatever. And it's like, obviously it's there, you're going to use it. So I'm trying to strip back away from that. At the minute I've got a hybrid setup, as you can see. We're in my studio, for anyone who doesn't know. I've invited Jamie around mine. We've got the 2 tracks running here, and they'll be running like patched into this mixer. So I've got a hybrid setup. Everything's recorded digitally, so I can't still do the retakes and that. And then it's my EQ and that on here. I've got all my guitar pedals up here, which I use for effects. And then that's recorded straight to either VHS if I want it more of a hi-fi sound, or cassette down there if I want a bit more of a low fidelity. It's just more about keeping that soul, like removing the temptation to perfect it.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
And like next year, hopefully I'll get my Tascam working, and then it'll be even more analog.
I think for me, and Jay will probably bang his head against the wall, that I always use Nebraska as sort of my soundboard when I'm talking about albums and souls of albums. And I encourage anybody who hasn't seen the new Springsteen biopic, Deliver Me From Nowhere, because that really gets into the heart of being in a time and place and creating a song. That
album would be the perfect example of what I was just saying. And
I think, but not every... It seems to be a common theme with artists these days that they want a Nebraska. And I think sometimes they don't understand what Nebraska is. And for me, it's about a selection of songs that have deep meaning at that particular point in Bruce's life. And it was recorded there and then. If he had a more high-tech studio at home, if it's a year down the line, he's recording in his garage, in his studio, and the demos that come out on the 83 garage sessions that was in the new box set sound completely different to Nebraska. They sound like demos, and there's no way that that could have been released in 83. They would have had to be taken into a studio and had to have overdubs on them. Whereas Nebraska, it had to happen how it did. And I just want to get your opinion on Deliver Me From Nowhere.
Yeah.
Just because it has been, this is kind of wrapping up sort of my first set of episodes was on Deliver Me From Nowhere and Nebraska. And for the last 5 years, I've been trying to get Jay to listen to Springsteen. And I'm quite proud to say that on his mixtape for November and December, now features a couple of Bruce songs.
Yeah.
What was your views on Deliver Me From Nowhere?
I really enjoyed the film. To be fair, like I know that like the biopic film, the music biopics, so they all kind of do a similar thing. Like they're different in their own ways, but like I've enjoyed most of them. I didn't really like the Queen one. I've enjoyed most of them. Like the Bob Dylan one, I never really gave Bob Dylan much of a chance. And now there's a few songs I enjoy, but the Springsteen one was solely focused on like that year in Nebraska. And once I knew like the story behind it, like every song pretty much has its own story in it, doesn't it? And especially I think it was his manager in the film said they're all about people being punished. Yep. That gives you a new light to listen to it through. It's about having that context, isn't it? And that definitely has swayed me round to Bruce, as you say. I've got at the minute. So like I listened to Nebraska. I forced myself to listen to Nebraska about 3 times through, front to back, before the film.
Yeah.
Still wasn't much of a fan of it, really. I think State Trooper might have been one that stood out. And then after the film, I listened to it again, and I was a bit fonder of it. And then I do myself a monthly mixtape, like a playlist burned onto cassette, basically. So I'm not skipping through anything. I don't know most of the songs on there. It's just my way of forcing myself to listen to new stuff. And State Trooper is definitely one of my favourites now. That was on that one. And then after that, I went and listened to Electric Nebraska. Atlantic City, I'd say, is the strongest song on that record. So that's made on there. And the Electric Nebraska version of Born in USA. Yeah. I really enjoy that as well. Obviously, we all know the Born in USA. But
yeah.
I even quoted the other day to you, didn't I?
Indeed.
Frankie.
Yeah. And I just wanted to get this recorded on a podcast for like my own posterity.
Yeah, this is just for Jamie. He's not even releasing this. He's just keeping
being
this.
released.
I want to ask you a question.
Feel free.
Do you feel if Bruce sitting in his bedroom recording Nebraska was recording on a computer, how do you feel that would change the album?
I feel that the sound that he was looking for would not have been achievable digitally.
Mm-hmm.
I think he needed to be in his bedroom. I think he needed almost to be performing live, and he just had Mike battling in the corner there. And I feel that it would have been very similar to when he went into the studio and tried to re-record it acoustically. That there just wouldn't have been that soul there.
Yeah.
And I think it would have then developed, and then it'd have brought the band in, and then it'd have been an overdub. Yeah. And then I think we'd have had sort of like a hybrid Born in the USA, Electric Nebraska style release.
Yeah.
Because I just think certain things just need to happen at certain times. It's like certain songwriters need to be together. Like, I've tried to, over the last month or so, listen to the new Wings anthology, because I've been quite open where I've said that I've been trying to push Bruce on Jay for 5 years, and he's a massive Beatles fan. And I'm always about looking at my favourite artist influences, and also I want people to tell me about albums and artists that listen to me. And another friend of mine, he was mad into the Beatles, and this is probably going back sort of about 15, 20 years, was recommending me albums to listen to when there was a box set come out. And I was like, this is okay, this is good. But now when I've listened to the Wings side of things that I really miss that McCartney and Lennon
Oh yeah,
double act.
yeah.
And
I've been listening to Wings as well because we were talking about Band on the Run, so
Yep.
I've chucked a few Band on the Run songs on my cassettes. Sorry, yeah, Band on the Run. That's the name of the
yeah,
album.
you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. There's good stuff,
Yep.
definitely. And with the McCartney albums, there's some good stuff. Sorry.
Live and Let Die.
Oh yeah, Live and Let Die. But yeah, it's definitely not as there's something missing. Definitely. And even like with the Beatles, the songs that Paul wrote on his own, Blackbird, awesome song.
Yep.
Doesn't even feature any of the other members, I don't think. Really. I think it's just Paul tapping his foot and playing acoustic. But that's still got the magic to it.
Yep.
But then as soon as it's just, yeah, I don't know, as soon as he's on his own.
So this might be sacrilegious, but I've spent a lot of time with the deluxe edition of Who Are You by The Who. And it was the last album to feature Keith Moon on drums. Now, The Who obviously have had a massively successful career after that album. And some of my favourite songs come from like the next set of albums, Eminence Front being one. I'd never feel that the magic was recaptured of having that original band in the studio. The same with the last 2 episodes ago, I was discussing Bon Jovi. For me, Bon Jovi have never been able to recapture the magic of having Sam Bora next to John. It's just missing. And that's just going back to that question where you said about Bruce. There's moments of magic and people need to be in certain places and with certain people for that to happen. And I just don't think it could happen at any other time with that album.
Yeah.
There we go. That's my answer.
Lovely.
What does the future hold for your career in 2026?
A lot more windows to be filmed, a lot more doors to be fitted. Oh, you mean my music career?
Music career, yes.
Yeah, right. As you can see behind you, Jamie, I have a list of songs I'm working on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 songs I'm currently working on.
To me, that looks like the basis of an album.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm still like in the throes of, do I make this an album or do I just start releasing the singles? I've got Centre of Culture up there, which we spoke about.
Yep.
That's pretty hot off the press, and I like that one a lot. And I'm thinking, oh, do I just release it as a single? And then If as well, both of which are on social media. I've already technically released them, I guess, just not on any music platforms.
Do you find it hard to keep songs back if you know I've written a good song?
Yeah.
Do you want to just chuck it
Exactly.
out there?
That's what's pulling me, is like I just want to get it released and promote it and try and get some people to listen to, because I feel like it's a good song. But at the same time, yeah, I'm trying to work on an album and I need some strong songs for an album.
A lot of people, and I believe you share kind of this view in sort of a cold musical way, that the album is a dying art form now.
Definitely, yeah.
People drop into artists for singles. There are no big albums anymore.
No.
I mean, for me, when I was a kid, I've just spoken previously about American Idiot. That was in everybody's CD collection. You go back further, you look at even albums like Thriller by Michael Jackson. Everybody's mum, dad, and auntie owned that album.
Yeah.
Like,
the last big CD I can think of that was in everyone's collection would have been AM.
yeah.
I think I had that. All my friends had that in their cars because we'd just passed our driving test by that point. So yeah, that's like the last one I could. Then like Jake Bug, Shangri-La. I think that's the last albums I can remember seeing in all my friends' CD collection. That's the last time I saw a CD collection, I think.
And I think that's the thing as well that I feel, going back to sort of where we started our conversation, that I find it very impersonal now that me and Jay talk a lot, and I'll just ping him a YouTube link. He'll send me a YouTube link. I miss the fact that I discovered Guns N' Roses by being on the school bus, and I was listening to Bon Jovi at a point there, and my mate turned around to me and said, "Oh, if you like these, here's a CD for you." And it was Use Your Illusions 2. And I went home and listened to Civil War, and I was like, what is this man like singing? What is this guitarist like? And then that was a whole new thread, and that was just through a friend realizing we were in similar music and thinking, right, here's something there. And I don't feel that we do that anymore. I was talking to another older friend of mine, and he was sort of saying that he got into Springsteen by his music teacher giving him a copy of Darkness on the Edge of Town. Because they had that conversation about music. Now, for me, when I was at school, my music teachers were awful. They wouldn't talk about like the music that we were interested in. And I do feel that that's missing now, that people don't, because physical media is so expensive, you can't afford just to say, here we go, this is my copy of Nebraska, I'm going to give that to you, because I paid 35 quid for that. And 35 quid for an album. That's staying in like my protective sleeve and going into like my collection.
You can digitize it and burn it to a CD.
Yeah.
But no one's got a CD player anymore.
No, exactly.
But I remember passing around CDs in school. Christ.
And making mixtapes. Like we've had this conversation as well. Like when you were wanting to impress a girl, like taking them out in a car or whatever, you would make a mixtape on CD. Now we make playlists, but playlists,
no one listens to a playlist. If you send someone a play, I mean, I promote my playlists all the time, just so because I listen to a lot of independent music anyway. A lot of the playlists I make have a lot of independent artists on, so I put them up on my Instagram story or whatever. But no one listens to them. Who wants to listen to someone else's playlist?
But if somebody gave you an album, physically gave you an album, would that encourage you?
Yeah, for sure. That Richard Ashcroft's new album, Loving You. There you go, it's up there. I had to look at it. But I've listened to that loads. Because I bought the physical copy. I bought it on cassette and CD, and like I've had it in my cassette player walking around town.
So previously this year, you performed your first proper supporting gig, and I thought you did a nice bit of promo that you made your own CDs and sent people away with that, because I think that for me would encourage me to go and listen to somebody rather than a QR code. A QR code or like a little business card. It did have
a QR code on the back in case anyone wanted to listen to any more.
But I do feel now that there's almost like there is like an underground younger people that want to get into physical media. And I think that's why vinyls have resurged massively. And like cassettes now.
Even Taylor Swift's releasing on cassette now.
Yeah.
I mean, she has been for a while, I think. But like you see a lot of the cassette, the CD, the vinyl, it's all...
Guns N' Roses, two new songs. They're only coming out on vinyl and cassette.
Yeah, I've been debating releasing the next album physical only, to be honest.
And that would be really cool.
You'd get the first copy, of course.
Thank you very much. Signed, I expect. To get back onto track, we were talking about the process of an album. So at the moment, you have got how many songs?
I can't remember. 16, I think I said.
16 songs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Would you want your first album... 17 songs. So would you want that first album to be a autobiographical album, or would you want it to be your greatest hits? Or are you looking to tell a story? What's kind of your thinking behind
That's one of the
creating
problems
an album?
I'm having with this album. It's very much all over the place. But it's very all over the place. I'm really struggling with actually arranging it in an order that makes sense. That's the biggest draw with it at the minute. I'm trying to stray away from being autobiographical at the minute.
Can I ask you a question then? So as another potential downside to being an independent artist, is it hard not having a producer?
Yeah.
Or someone to guide you?
Yeah.
Because I guess it must be hard as well, because you're reaching out to friends. And we had a conversation earlier on where Jay felt quite bad because my Bon Jovi based podcast, he struggled a bit with.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't care about if you're saying like, I struggle with the content in there, because we all like different musicians. We all like different bands. And he's not a big or a Bon Jovi fan really outside, I guess, like the hits and bits and pieces like that. And so it's going to be really hard when I'm sitting there saying, oh, in 2008, Bon Jovi did the end of the Lost Highway tour and then went into the Circle era. Whereas another friend of mine was like, oh, it's the best podcast you've done because he's invested in that. Do you find it hard because you're going to friends, family members, do you feel that you get their honest opinion? Do you feel that they sugarcoat?
I don't. Apart from my stepfather-in-law, my wife's stepdad, everyone tends to just be like, "Oh yeah, I liked it." Like, especially with the song a week, like no one's listening to a song a week. But like everyone else,
I'd like to say, I listened to all 52 of those.
No, you did not on time, surely.
Yeah, because you sent me them.
Oh yeah,
I listened to them in advance of everybody else. So you wouldn't have got a stream.
No, that's right. I don't care about the streams. But yeah, I feel like it's very hard to get. Like, obviously, no one wants to be confrontational with anyone. And like, again, my stepfather-in-law, I was going to call him my father-in-law for convenience sake. My father-in-law will like not be horrible. He'll say something. Oh, I didn't really like that one. It's a bit. Well, it didn't really go anywhere or something. And I'll hate him for it.
Yeah.
But at least I'm very glad he's told me anyway. I don't actually hate him for it. It's just like 30 seconds of rage of being like... But,
do you find it hard when it is your art and you get criticism over it?
Yeah, it's hard to take criticism anyway, isn't it?
It is.
But
I
do want to be the kind of person who can take it on board. So like I keep it to myself for 30 seconds. You're fucking cunt. And then and then I actually take it on board and try and do something better the next time. Yeah. My mind's gone blank again. Some beers, man.
I must say as well, as we have been recording this podcast, we have both been drinking, so I do apologise.
That's why I keep going off track.
If it's not as professional as the last few. As it is basically our Christmas special, I thought it might be nice to do this one live in the studio with Jay. And yeah, we've had a couple of beers.
Anyway.
Getting back onto track.
Sorry.
So... album, potentially. Would you be wanting to do more live performances other than the open mics?
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed playing live. Had some problems, feedback issues, unfortunately. Some feedback issues, unfortunately. But yeah, I just need to figure out how I would perform live, because a lot of my songs, again, I've said like there's quite a lot that are acoustic folky songs, but they're not really the ones I want to perform. I want to have some of the more like rocky songs in there, but how am I going to do that? Am I going to use a band, or am I going to use backing tracks? Like backing tracks are a bit bland and disingenuous, and I would like to have a band, but I can't afford to pay musicians. Like I haven't got many friends that are free, who've got enough free time to, like, I know drummers and bass players and that, but getting a band together to play would be, so yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what a live show would look like from me. Because no one wants to listen to 40 minutes of some bloke singing acoustically, don't they, really?
I suppose it depends the kind of place that you're looking at performing. If you're opening for, like, a rock band, no. But you've got sort of acoustic venues, you've got acoustic nights.
Yeah, well, then people are there to hear acoustic songs, aren't they? But, yeah. But a lot of my favourite songs are more instrument-driven.
How do you create set lists?
Painstakingly. Again, like I said with the album, I really struggle to, because you've got to kind of figure out a flow to it. I used to DJ Northern Soul records, original vinyls, and it was always the figuring out the next. I always just like to do it live, play a song and then see how everyone reacts, and then play the next song based off that, and just like get the next record lined up based on that. So I've never been very good at like preemptively setting everything up. So the set list, I've done backing tracks when I opened the gig, and I had to sit and like imagine what people are going to be feeling like. Oh, this song was really energetic. Do I go on to the next energetic song, or do I come down a bit and then build up to the next energetic song at the end? And where do I put small victories? Where do I put small victories and stuff like that? So yeah, I struggle with like set lists, and like I say about organising the album, like as I've said to you, when I finally get all of them recorded, I'm sending it to you and you're going to organise it for me.
What has been the biggest learning curve for you since you've been releasing music?
I don't know, it's all of it is very to and fro. Like you feel like you're finally getting a hold of I feel like I'm finally getting a hold of what I'm doing, like mixing wise, and then I go back and listen to a song from last year and I'm like, oh God, that sounds 10 times better than what I'm doing this year. And I'm going to try and figure out what I was doing then, what vocal chains I was doing then. And like definitely mixing's been a hard step. Mastering, like all I do with mastering really is just do a bit of like delicate EQ at the end and put some limiters and compressors on it. Not a lot really. Basically old school mastering, which was just getting it ready for the platform people are going to listen to it on. Yeah, mixing and social media.
Yep.
Still hate it. Hate promoting stuff. I keep trying to like obviously help you a bit with the podcast, but you're doing fine on your own. But I'm like, oh, if you just like, no one's really going to watch the reel to the end. Like all these new watchers, I'm going to watch the reel to the end and find out the information if you put it at the end of the reel. So maybe just put a poster out where it's got all the information up front. And I don't know, that's been definitely a learning curve. But like the people who make it, like the Same, I can't remember. I think they're just called Same. They're a band.
Yep.
And they've recently blew up on social media, but gained traction on social media because their dad set up an account where he was just dancing to their music every day, and people were like, day one, I danced into my son's music until they go viral and so many days or whatever. It's really cool. I followed them because of it.
Yeah.
It worked. But it's barely music related at that point, is it?
And I think that's the thing where, and it goes back to what we were saying previously, that viral trends then impact people's music.
Yeah.
So for my listeners that have enjoyed this chat, or been highly
those who aren't
entertained,
asleep yet,
can you recommend me some of your music so my listeners can go away and go and listen to some songs? So we've heard Small Victories, we've heard Devil's Debate. Can you give us, so we say, 3 other songs?
Obviously everyone's favourite who's ever come to me has said Pablo Escobar, so I'll put that one on there, even though I'd say that probably reflects least the kind of music I want to make anyway.
As a little behind the scenes story, I did tell Jay that I was going to ask him this question earlier.
Did you?
Yeah.
What's this question? The 3 songs?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did tell me. I said Devil's Debate, and I said 2 others. Are we counting Devil's Debate and Small Victories?
No.
Oh, fuck. I do like Potholes and Possibilities.
Yep.
Fuck that. Dreamscape Matinee.
Yep.
I think I'll actually put that on the list as well. We've spoke so much about AI since I can't find it. The Dreamscape Matinee is very Beatles influenced. That's definitely up there for me. It's one of my favourites. Potholes and Possibilities, again, pretty Beatles influenced. But I do like that one. I like performing that one live. I'm Trying, I think that was the one on the list, is a song I wrote about quitting smoking. It's actually about your stag do. And because I smoked on Jamie's stag do after quitting for like a year, and I come back in the studio the next day self-loathing and wrote a song about it. So I'm Trying that. So yeah, I'd say Devil's Debate, then I'm Trying, and then Potholes would be my 3 that we haven't spoke about already. There you go.
Sounds good. So please go away and listen to those tracks. As a little bit of a wrap up, and because we're coming to the end of 2025, what has been your favourite releases of 2025? You can give me albums, you can give me singles, you can plug other independent artists, you can go in and say Electric Nebraska.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. There's so many singles. Have I got to pick one?
You can pick as many as you want.
I really enjoy, if you saw my Spotify Wrapped, which is Chloe Slater. It's a like indie feminist music. I don't know why I listen to it and why it appeals to me so much, but I love it. There's a local band, I think they might be Lincolnshire based, Beat Me Out of Me. They're really good. I've really enjoyed their releases this year. As for more mainstream, I really enjoy like the what Jake Bugg's released of his newest album so far. I think it might be out, although I swear to God I pre-ordered it. So I don't know where my CD is, if there is, like, if it is
Jake,
out.
if you are listening, Jay is still waiting for his CD.
I'm going to check now, because I swear to God it was coming out in November. Oh, fuck it, I can't be asked. But yeah.
So Jake Bugg's new album.
Yeah, Jake Bugg's new album. I've liked what has come out of that so far, if the whole thing is not out and I've not received my CD.
What was your favourite gig that you attended in 2025?
I think I only went to one. I think I only went to Oasis. But that was really good. I really enjoyed Oasis. I was expecting them to be shite because live music's never captured well on a phone camera, is it?
No, not at all.
And it sounded a bit shite through the videos from the shows previous, but no, they were killer live. They were awesome.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have sort of said about Oasis that for the first time in a long while that it's been a rock band that's just gone out there and performed rock music. There's been no sort of massive political statements, no overly Coldplay showmanship with like lasers and all that sort of crap. Unsurprisingly, my favourite show this year was Springsteen in Manchester, and that was heavily political, but I got Human Touch, which is a song that I've been chasing for years. I took a friend of mine, he paid for his own ticket. We went to Liverpool and he came away saying it was amazing, but it was a show where, because of the political themes, the emotional themes in there, that you went through sort of waves of different things with the set list. And I think that's where Oasis have come in and just sort of said, no, we're going to play for like 2 hours, just rock songs. And I think that's been really quite well received. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next, whether they actually come back with a new album. There's rumours actually today that they may be the next artist to make a Bond song. Not sure how that would sound, if I'm honest. I've always liked Oasis, but I don't know if Oasis have got a Bond song in there.
I don't doubt Oasis have got
My final question for you. So there is a new Bond movie in production. I think it's due for release 2028.
Right.
Who would you like to see write and record, other than yourself,
yeah,
a Bond theme?
Oh, I was thinking about this the other day, and I can't even remember who I was thinking of. I was like...
Because for me, there's different kinds. Like, me and Jay are big Bond fans, and you can go back and you can look at the best Bond themes. And like, for me, my favourites across the years, you can look at like Goldfinger, Thunderball. Yeah. I really like Live and Let Die. Although I prefer the Guns N' Roses version. But I love a lot of the 80s sort of almost power ballady ones. Absolutely love License to Kill. And then you've got like the newer Bond songs. So you've got No Time to Die with Billie Eilish, is a good song in its own right. You've got Chris Cornell's You Know My Name, which is my all-time favourite Bond song. But I think that's because it's the kind of music that I'm interested in. Yeah. Technically, I'd probably go back to License to Kill, because that's probably the Bond song that I am singing around the house most of the time.
Is it? Yeah.
So if I was thinking about who I would want to sing a Bond song, would I want a rock artist? I've always said to Jay, and he's a big fan of Arctic Monkeys, I think
Alex Turner.
Alex Turner's got a good Bond song in him.
Yeah.
I do feel on the last album, The Car, Sculptures of Anything Goes, that had a very Bondian theme to it.
Yeah, someone edited that over was it No Time to Die or Skyfall?
Possibly.
Credits in it. It worked quite well. Yeah. I think Alex Turner could pull it off.
Because you always see these Lewis Capaldi, like these big voices, and I just think, this is no disrespect to Sam Smith at all, but
I think he should get another crack.
I feel with Sam Smith that his song was the worst Bond theme, that he wrote it basically on a post-it note over dinner. Right. And it just felt like there's certain things, and maybe it goes against what we were saying earlier, that there's certain honours for me in life, and as a musician, an honour to write a Bond theme, a song that's is going to transcend sort of music and movies. I just felt like when I listened to the song, it felt like it had been wrote on the back of a napkin over dinner.
Yeah, I think like with the Billie Eilish one, her and Phineas worked that for a long time.
You can tell that
they went through a lot of versions of it. I think from some mini doc I was watching on their socials or YouTube or something.
I must say the gentleman that wrote with Alicia Keys, and we will not mention his name on this podcast, the Quantum of Solace theme.
Yeah, especially crap.
Again, you could tell it was rushed.
Yeah, the thing is as well, it didn't even sound like really the kind of song that the individual who writes that song would make.
And the reason we're not saying his name is because when I met him at the Quantum of Solace premiere, he signed everybody else's posters other than mine. So he is not welcome, and his music is not welcome on this podcast.
It went a little bit verbal on that, didn't it? I think it called you a twat or something, didn't it? Yeah, it didn't even like. He's got a style which I like. Obviously,
he's got swagger.
And like his music, but yeah, that one didn't even have anything to it.
So we're thinking we would put our money behind Alex Turner.
Alex Turner's definitely got one. I would like Oasis. Someone who'd do something I wouldn't expect, because I loved No Time to Die and Skyfall and You Know My Name, but especially like Skyfall, No Time to Die, and the Spectre by Radiohead version.
Yes.
They're all like the same kind of thing, like slow and moody and ethereal, which is the kind of thing I'd write. But I would like someone who I'm not going to know what they're going to do with it. Like Chris Cornell's You Know My Name.
And I think I think Alex Turner would be in my sort of top two people. The one that I would like to see what they would do with it, because of the orchestral side of things, would be Biffy Clyro.
Yeah.
Because they've got the great song The Captain, they've got Bubbles, and they got the one that they released in COVID, which absolutely played to death, which I can't remember the name of. But I think Biffy Clyro have got a big, like, orchestral, guitar-driven Bond theme in them. So that would be my choice.
Yeah, something unexpected.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much, everybody, spending some time with us on Flint Rocks. I've got one last little podcast that will be dropping before the end of the year, where I'm just going to look back on some of my favorite albums, some of my favorite releases. But by the time you're listening to this, Christmas is going to be a matter of a couple of days away. So I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, a happy and safe New Year, and keep rocking.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Keep going.
No. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my daddy's channel.